Post camera rolling in 3, 2.
Hello once again, and a very, very warm welcome to another edition of African Stars Club Legends. Well, joining us today is Mr. Rasta Galio Virtual Wednesday. There's so many names, shortened as Galio. One of the best football playing centre backs. When I'm saying football playing centre back, it's not all day fine centre backs, just hook the ball up, tackle and whatever. He could play football, bring the ball up, very calm under pressure. Obviously one of my favorites and my personal favorites. Rasta, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Carlos. Thank you for having me.
Rasta, if my recollections serve me right, I think you are actually not the late starter, or the late starter in terms of Namibian football, were unknown entity, and then you left at an early age. You went to Botswana. I know before that you played some football in the lower division in Kobabas. But when you came from Botswana, you were a refugee in Botswana, but when you came back, you just saw somebody different about this Rasta. But most of the guys who came back from Exile, we knew they were top footballers. Now, here comes an unknown entity, surprises everybody with a different type of football. Can you please maybe take us through your football journey, but from when you started?
Thank you, Carlos. It's a privilege to be in this program, and I'm very happy for those initiators of this program, because it's keeping us, at least everyone, to his history and all these things. Thanks for the question. I started my football in Katutura, in front of Tio Bashimune School, with people like Mondi Javera, Carpio, Chonangoro. We played there. We started with that plastic balls, and we were always playing there. And every time you have to watch Mr. Kambau Kambe, the traffic, and there were and there was no need of seeing who's playing there, because you used to know us, the same people who are playing there. So in the evening time, you must get you have to be beaten about that. So I play around there, and I didn't start my school at Tio Bashimune, where everyone started, because our house was in front of Tio Bashimune. I decided to go to the big school. I said to big school, then I went to Bethel Timumuni School. So I started there, and I was a favorite to my grandfather, the old teacher. So
He was our teacher.
Yeah. So he was at St. Barnabas by that time. So he went and opened a school, a Bushman school that side of MAH00017. So he went with me.
For the Sun community.
The Sun community. So I was there with them.
And he dragged you along?
Yes, because I was one of his favorite sons when it came to football, because he was also a football player. Yeah, so I played there.
The founder members of African Stars, juvenile. I have photos of him with the juvenile.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that side we were playing. When you are young, I used to play everywhere. Sometimes goalkeeper, sometimes forward, every position. So that's how I end up moving on with football. And I went to Lister School at Shombinde, and there you could find a lot of talents there. People were playing good football, and with my career I could not play a lot with my age mate. I used to play with these big people, and that's why I've grown up in football.
You also had a stint with Maroon Brothers and Kobabas at Lister. So how was it like the standard of football before you left the country?
When we were playing in Oshombinde, Red Fontaine, I used to have my big brother, and we used to play together football. He was a class, he was a very class man. So unfortunately, he passed on in 1983, and that is the year then I went to at Paco Secondary School, and I started playing for Maroon Brass. They picked me up there when we are playing around in school there, and they picked me up and I started playing that side. You know, in Hubabes, they were in the likes of Jomo, the likes of these teams like Chief Sandos and Pirates and all these good teams that was carrying the flag that side.
And when you went to Botswana as a refugee, you were obviously staying in the refugee camps, but you managed to squeeze yourself in the squad of Botswana police team, and you were a regular starter there, and those were one of the top teams, Township Rollers, and a couple of other teams there. How was the standard of football in Botswana when you arrived?
Before I went that side, we were having a team in the camp,
The
refugee camp. So
were you staying at the Mokhodisana, or were you staying?
No. We went to
Francistown.
That side of Francistown.
Okay.
And there were good players. There were players like Katiko. I think you remember. Yes.
Was very good.
It was good on
very skillful.
Yeah. So there was a teacher.
Very good passer.
It was very good. Yeah. So So we're having the two Maroon Brothers guys who were playing together around here. One of them was Terence, and this guy was very fast and pulse-fitted. And we were having a nice team. There was a teacher like Tobias Sakuria. I think you might be knowing him. He was also a Diabra. So there were good players around there. Even Mr. Shivigwa Shora, when he came from Ambulance. Yes. Yeah.
Very, very strong, very energetic, tireless. He was a bull terrier.
Yeah. So every year, at the end of the year, this team, Tafik from Francistown, used to come.
Came here as well.
Yeah, I think they played with Liverpool around.
Goalkeeper was
So they come and pick me up there. We're having a game. We're two with another South African guy, and they picked me up to go and start playing for Tafi. But I could not play for them because when I went to Francistown, I found this guy, Mr. Buere, and Onesmus. These guys were from Germany. They were coming to do their work of this building and all these things. So I joined them. So I could not join the team. So these guys moved to Gaborone. So I ended up moving with them. So there was this guy, Victor Kaganyati. He was at UB, the University of Botswana. So I went to visit him there. You were talking
was
about...
it one of these expert, the editors that are living in
Yes, yes. So you were talking about touchy crawlers. So the touchy crawlers in Botswana, they were
a top team.
They were top team, but they were the players were the learners. It was students.
Students.
Yeah. So they find me with Victor, and Victor was telling me, this guy is a football player. They picked me up. Very early in the morning, there was a policeman called Eti Mero. He passed on. He heard about the story. Before I wake up, he was already there. So he took me.
They kidnapped you.
Yeah. Yes. So his question was clear. Do you want to get back to Tukwe, to the refugee camp, or do you want to play for a police league?
Actually, blackmail.
So I said, for me to get back, I do not work. So I've already joined police league.
That's how you join police league.
That's how you join police league. But we were having a section of training. Chibikwa was there. We were having trials. These other two guys from Merubras were there. We were almost 8 players. So I used to play midfield. But I went and asked, before we played the game, I asked who's the best player of police league. They told me about a guy called Peterson, and he was a forward, a Zimbabwean guy, very tall and strong guy. So I went to my guys, I told them, no. you know that guy is a very strong man. He's the best player. So leave him for me, I will take care of him. So I end up playing at the back now, so I have to watch this man. So the coach was a Zimbabwean too, but he could not see any way where Peterson could touch the ball or playing the ball. But now the problem was with the managers of the team and the coach, they differ, because the coach was thinking of Peterson is not playing. But the manager was saying, no, I'm not playing football, so they cannot take me because they don't see anything. You know, Botswana football is like South African football, like touch. So if you don't touch those things, they will not think that you are a good player. So the coach went to Eddie and please tell the guy to play. And he was asking me, which position are you playing? And I asked him, what problem do you have? Which problem do you have in your team? So I'm the solver of your problem. So that's why we talk, and he decided to go and talk to those people. He said, just give me a chance with this man, and then I will come back to you. In the afternoon, I told Katiko, so we are going to play now, play in the midfield with you. So don't pass anyone, so we'll play the ball. So that's where they saw me and said, no, we can take this guy, but where can we use him? So I told them, your problem is over. They were having a problem with the defensive, and I joined the defensive, and that's why I started playing for Police League.
Looking at your overall style of play, you are playing totally different game. I mean, I know a lot of centre-backs, great centre-backs. We talk about it against us. From the days of Kiwi, we have Albert Tierone, with Kariri. Now, your style was more similar to one of Willie Reader. And I think he's the man who came to change the entire playing style of African Stars. Started playing from the back, not moving the balls away. Where did you learn this style?
I think, I don't know, when I was in Huawei's, teacher Isaac Uitele used to call me right-arm forking. So, me, I didn't watch right-arm forking, but he used to call me.
The right full back.
Yes, yeah.
Very dangerous.
So, but when I started playing for Police 11, we changed the way of playing from behind, and our free man was the midfielder, so the captain of the team. So at the back, everyone would pick up his man, but I was the last man picking up. So I have to put the ball down and start playing to these guys so that the game can move on. So if I kick the ball, then we cut the free man who's supposed to make the game. So that's why we have changed the whole thing. That's why I decided now to. That was my normal football. You know, when you're playing up front and midfield, if you start there, you don't kick the ball like that. So I started playing there in the midfield and up front. So for me to play at the back and to hold the ball was more easier. And to me also to look to strikers. If I see a striker who's coming up to here, or I look at him, I just call. When I used to call Katisha, just play the ball here. He said, no, there is a man. I said, just play here. We start playing. Yeah. So that was something in me. Confidence, because my colleague Bimbo used to say to tell people that this is the man who came and teach us how to play football from behind.
Really, that's a good compliment. But to be brutally honest, in those days, I mean, I was also in Botswana. If you look at the standard of football, a lot of things have changed now in terms of dynamics and a lot of things. But in your opinion, the standard of Botswana football at that time, in comparison to our standards, how did you find it?
If somebody taught the truth, I see the Namibian country of footballers.
I don't want to put those words into your mouth.
No. I know Namibian players are quality. I could even see myself, when I see Mohammed went to Chiefs, that was the time we were also playing.
Let me just quickly cut you short.
Okay.
You know what happened? We went with the Brave Warriors to Zimbabwe. I was there as a journalist. And the scouts came in there. There was Kevin Hunt and his brother-in-law, I forgot his name. They came actually with an ad to sign Robert Nelson. And we were seated together. We were staying in the same hotel, so we were talking. So we became friends. And actually, I told him, listen, you must sign that number 12. That was the MAH00017. That guy is a very good player. But their idea was to sign Robert Nelson. But Robert didn't have a good game. And they ended up signing Talia Mubrewa from Zimbabwe, Zimbabwean forward. But in later years, when I bumped into Kevin Hunt in Joburg, he was telling, when Mohammed had signed for Kaiser Chiefs, he said, yeah, you advised us to sign that guy. We could have signed that guy for Hellenic. We made a big mistake not signing MAH00017. MAH00017 was class. He walked into that Kaiser Chiefs team straight away from Tsuno. So, that team.
Yeah. So you could see that time when Mohammed went, he was not up to standard, you see. But every player from Namibia to South Africa, you will end up being the best player of the year, the best player of the tournament. It's also like Otto now.
I mean, I think we have to get on the subject. I always tell people that, like you said, we're a country of footballers. The talent is there. If you look at the South African league, the best players there are Namibians. And in my honest opinion, I've been a footballer in football. Most of those players, Dion Hotto, Shalolini, these guys, in my opinion, they were average players. They were not the best players, but sometimes you need that luck to hit the jackpot.
Yes.
But they are the top players there in the South African league. What does that tell us about the quality of Namibian players?
Let me get back to your question, the quality of Botswana and Namibian league. By our time that side, Botswana was having a lot of foreigner players, although they could use 3 players, but every team that need to perform, we used to have foreign players, Zambian football players, Zimbabwean players. So I used to be among those foreign players, although the likes of Herman were there also, and he played for, is it Herman Chiboya? He was yes, he was playing for Tachi Brawlers before he left. Before he left the country. Yes, and also he left a mark there. When I joined Police 11, they know that there was a Namibian who was. Yes. Even this guy is
great left foot, both feet, shoot, was very fast.
Yeah. So that's why they are like.
And Mohebe as well.
Yes. Yeah. Was a standard. There was a standard in there.
They set a standard.
Yeah, they set a standard. That's it. You see, but also when they were using this best player of the match, will get a check or something like that, and a top goal scorer. So normally we used to. This is the thing that used to encourage us, because every time after playing, we used to have a place where we go foreigners and enjoy ourselves by knowing that the check from Gayo Pende will come because of the best defender and best striker and all those other people. So we used to have that nice name. But Namibia, with itself, it's having a quality players. People, with all the tribes, we will get football all over the country.
When you came back, how did you arrive? How did you join the African Stars? Because we just saw somebody, an unknown player, we never heard of. I mean, when you left, you were a small boy, nobody knew about you. But then suddenly we are hearing about this Rasta guy. They used to call you Rasta as well. And who brought you to African Stars?
You know, when we returned back, we used to be at the house of the former player, Opet Cambrona.
Yes, he was the captain.
Yes, so we used to gather there. So this player, by that time the leader was Stanley Kodongwedi. So you used to also to be there, Jiva Kawami used to be there, Yuku, all all these African Stars players used to come there to that place of the former player of the Cameroon. But now, the man who brought me is this man, Obed Cameroon. But by that time, we were enjoying, because now that side you were having tough time. So we were just enjoying. I didn't want to play football. So I was trying to be just with this group around here, having nice time and all these things. I ended up putting my complaint of that I don't have a soccer boot. He went and buy those things. So he took me, by that time the team was training at showground. So he took me there. So when I arrived there, there were fire there, because every time when you arrive there, you go have to have the ball and give it either to Bernard Newman or to Pule Shombe, and then this guy have to pass the ball to you. Now, knowing that how Newman and Pule, they have that power shot, so when they shoot the ball to you, I put it down, and then Yuko was saying, hey, so he was saying that it's looking good, this guy, because the way he's dropping the ball and putting the balls down. So that's why I end up at African Star.
So how was the feelings of the crowd like in there? I mean, atmosphere. Sometimes when you're a new guy coming into a new environment, you always find some players who just feel that this guy, you know, they're trying to make things very difficult for you, because you come in to take their places or place of their friends. So were you accepted, fully accepted, or were there some kind of animosity among us?
Let me say that I was fully accepted, because most of the senior players like Jirakawami, because of gathering at the same place there in Katutura at Obed Camerona's place. So when I went there was no fear, and also that because of I was in exile too, so living with a lot of people, playing for Police 11 with the different players, so I was not having any fear of that. I was a free man, and I know when I come in and doing something, then it depends on me giving myself out and have that discipline. So it was not tough for me, because the toughest thing was when you look to the players who were playing for Stars, you can count 2 teams. So for you to end up getting that position, it's just a prayer to say that let me have that chance to show. So many of the people will ask you, which position are you playing? You said midfielder. They will count a lot of midfielder there. They will not count those ones who are playing. They will count those ones who are sitting on the bench. Who are good also. Yeah, why do you want to play?
Now you must have really had a heart of steel. You're coming into a new team, a centre back, and it's a very, very vital position in any team. And you are the kind of guy who don't just hold the ball up. And African Stars supporters, they can be very volatile at sometimes. And you come and play with confidence, get the ball, start playing from the back. They say, hey, you're screaming and swearing and saying, well, you must keep the ball out of play and all these things. Were you not affected by the fans? How did you manage, really to play long, to be calm and play a long game under such circumstances?
No, I could, sometimes, when you are doing something, Carlos, when you are a footballer, if you focus on something what you're doing, you end up not listening from outside. But you could hear the way they're screaming, but I could know what I'm doing in the field. So I came with, let me say, a bit of experience. Even at the Police 11 where I played, I once one day make a tackle and they give a penalty on that Lion Cup. So after this penalty, on the last minutes, so every crowd was saying any word. But I recover from that side and I end up scoring the 2 goals, the equalizer and the winning one. So I know that to take the pressure, so I came from that side. But I could know that for me to play proper football is to start from behind and start playing, because sometimes like when at the end we having this player Domingo, so he
was the best foreigner to ever played in one.
So he used to cry when people are kicking the ball. So he used to come to me and say, please, I know, big man, put down so that we can play. Once you put down, you will see him pick up the ball in your feet and start moving. Give to Costa or someone, then pick it up, just like that. So I could find those combinations. People like Waka, you could also wanted the ball to his feet also. So we're having a great players, ball players, not kicking players and all those things. So to me, it was more easier to enjoy it.
I think if I will remember, you also became captain of African Stars. Just a new guy who came to the team. I mean, there were a lot of senior players ahead of you in the team, and suddenly now you came. How did it feel like really leading such a good bunch of players and such a big team? I mean, African Stars is a very big team. You can feel it when you play against them. You can feel it when you play for African Stars. In the dressing room, when you work out of a tunnel, the moment you look at the crowd, I mean, you start shivering like the fired up bull orchestra. I mean, how was it really like? I mean, when being bestowed with the captain's armband?
It happens when we went to Pujimai. So it's where they elected me as a captain there because it was an international game, and you need to talk to these people. And, so it happens that
because of your fluency, the language, the communication, and everything.
Yeah. So from there, I don't know about Albert Chiero or those other captains, Nico Injo, but for me, I was an elected captain because I was elected by the player.
Oh, no, you were not chosen by the coach.
No. Yeah. So I was elected by the players, and we were having this bit of problem of maybe senior players, their training times. They used to come 2 days or 1 day. So for people to change, they wanted someone who's committed and all these things. So they select me for that.
Now, during your time at African Stars, what was your highlights, memorable moments, trophies and great matches? And just take us a little bit through those moments.
There was a game, and if it was this player for Black Africa who passed on.
Bernard Cote?
No. He was also in Calfred there. I don't know who was. So was it?
Calfred.
Yeah, Calfred. Calfred. When you're going to the south. Set Boys.
Oh, Set Boys.
Yeah. I saw him one day, and Smedley came to me, and he was greeting me with a big honor. And this guy was asking, "Who's that person?" I said, "No, it's Rasta Mbwende." He said, "No, let me tell you, how do I know Rasta Mbwende?" He picked up the ball from behind against Black Africa and scored. So that was a great game because I played only, I think it was only 2 touch. And then I played the last touch with Costa, and then he brought it back to me and I scored. So at Black Africa, the previous day they won Orlando Pirates because Orlando Pirates lead them 3-0 and they end up beating them 4-0. So they were saying when we go in the dressing room, say, no, remember we did this to Orlando Pirates, we'll come back. So I told them, no, you cannot score when I'm here. If I'm the last man here, we will not score. So we end up beating them 1-0. So that was one of my best games. And I used to enjoy games, all the games I played for because, when you are playing, a lot of games like cups, remember the PP topic? When we played against Liverpool. Yeah, we ended up getting this young man, Stephen Baisa, was sent off. So they scored 2 goals, but we ended up playing at Independence because we beat them 4-0. And it was a one of my best games, that one, because Bimbo were sent off early in 10 minutes or something, and we started enjoying the game proper. So it's one of my games then that I used to enjoy.
Rasta, you will go down in history as an African Stars legend. Although you didn't play probably too long, but you are a legend, a club legend. for some reason, you find a lot of players playing or staying in the game until the sunset of their playing careers. I mean, I've been in football, I've been following football, but for some reason, I think you disappeared while you were still at the peak, at the pinnacle of your football career. What happened? Why did you stop playing?
I think what happened when I stopped playing, remember with Les, there were a big meeting when me and Tete went to Blue Water. Pastor Boaz Chingai, the chief now, and Blue Water needed to survive. And they were saying that no, we need only these two players. I remember Les were talking of the cup that we were playing, and they're saying once you lose the cup, we will pay you. But we need these two players for us to survive. So Mr. Mvula, I think teacher Mvula, he gave his Mercedes Benz to take us to Walvis Bay.
But traditionally, African stars and Blue Waters have been exchanging players.
Yes.
There has been kind of a camaraderie between these two players, these two clubs, always from all those years. So you went to bail Black Harbor, Blue Waters out of time.
And there was a game with Orlando Pirates, and Blue Water had never won Orlando Pirates. So we went there and bailed them out. So it was a very nice game because, Orlando Pirates were having good players like Samora, Steven, all those good players, forward players. Pirates used to play with no more than four forwards that are just coming up front. They might be having one central defender, but you could find like people like Ahab. You find him is playing as a central defender, but he's also scoring and attacking. So I used to go, it happens that I have to go and control all these 5-6 players that are coming. So we end up beating them and Blue Water survive.
Who was your toughest opponent?
Samora from
Jeremiah.
You see, that was the only striker that would reach my mind. Samora was the only, because if you play with these other strikers like Steven, Forrester, them, they could do playing one way. But Samora could dribble, and he knows that once you move, that's the time you will pass. So he's the only person who could reach my mind. The other strikers, I could manage them proper. I could pocket them. I played once, they put me against, this giant from Orlando Pirates, was playing on the left, Klinky. So, Klinky was not involving much. It's only when the ball is on his feet. So I make a move, and that was at Katutura Stadium. And that time I make a move, the ball was cut and he was playing the clean. He hit the post there, and Jiva was saying that, no, why did you leave the person? Understand? But I said, no, I want to play. This guy is not playing. So we end up sub with him there. I came in the middle of the pitch, and then we start playing because we used to know how to kill Orlando Pirates. You give them the first 20 minutes, 15 minutes. If they cannot score, then you know that they are down. Then we move on. So second half we used to do also like that. So that was a player because we could not come in contact. It was only reading the mind. So that's the only person who was giving me trouble.
Certainly, Johnny Walter, you had it from the horse's mouth. Rasta, thanks for joining us. So with that, we have come to the end of another edition of African Stars Club Legends. From all of us here, is cheers.
Thanks, Mr. Carlos.
Rasta,